As we reported earlier, the attack in New Orleans appears to have been carried out by a radical lone wolf attacker who claimed to have pledged allegiance to ISIS this summer. Now, just 2 days before the attack, a pro-ISIS outlet called on individuals in the U.S. and Europe to commit acts of terror. The time has come to take out the swords from their sheaths and the hamstring the horses in their places that Allah loves and is pleased with. They are preparing for the feast of their polytheism, so turn their feast into mourning and their joy into a calamity, this ISIS group called for. And today, the group called for even more violence, telling followers to kill Westerners coldly with terror and rage. Now, even though Trump decimated the caliphate, ISIS still has influence online, and Shamsuddin Jabbar is proof that they can still wreak havoc across the world. How can the Western world neutralize these threats and stop people from being radicalized online? Benjamin Hall is a Fox News senior correspondent, and he joins me now. You know, Ben, a lot of people look at this and say, this guy, if you hear him speak, Jabbar seemed entirely normal. He won a medal for the global war on terror. He served in the army, discharged honorably. He had 2 daughters. How does a guy like this end up killing 14 people?
Yeah, and Katie, look, it's good to see you today. And look, this takes me right back to 2016 when ISIS was growing strong again. It's not just their strength on the battlefield and the caliphate they had. It's their strength during their propaganda and their English language propaganda. And we have seen both of those things rise in the last year. 2024 was a year in which ISIS was given some safe havens to live in and to work out of. Some parts of Afghanistan, some parts of Syria. And it was also a year in which we started to see their online English propaganda rise up again because they had areas from which they could do this. So there is great concern that if you take what is happening around the world, you see these parts which are not thriving at the moment. That is where this propaganda will come from. And that's what we believe that Jabbar was watching. Now, we know that he released 5 pro-ISIS videos as he was driving towards New Orleans, one of which FBI said he was talking about showing his viewers the disbelievers versus the believers. And so it was very key that he was propagating this ISIS propaganda. And it is great concern as we move forward that the eye mustn't be taken off Islamic terrorism. We have seen it grow not only around the world, but also inside the US when you look at these protests, the pro-Hamas protests following October 7th. This is something that will continue to grow if it wasn't dealt with, both inside the Middle East as well as online.
You know, Benjamin, that's really interesting because you point to the fact that ISIS lost all this territory, but they kind of made gains online. And indeed, they promised to commit more attacks. It's really chilling when you read the messages we just read. So, I mean, if someone sees this, I guess you refer it to social media and then to the FBI. You know, they say, see something, say something. And the new version of that should be looking out for this on social media. Is that right?
It should be. And look, there are groups such as Telegram, which have pro-ISIS accounts. They have pro-Al-Qaeda accounts, and they're being shut down as quickly as they can. But they continue to rise up again. And so you shut them down, they come up elsewhere. And I know that the counterterrorism units have a real eye on this. But look, there are communities also that are being founded. And it's about trying to break those communities up, both around the world, but also around the US as well. And that's what you've got to be looking for online. And I know that there are groups doing that, but that's something that has to be doubled down on. People have to be looking for that online propaganda and the communities that grow around it.
It's a huge task. Benjamin Hall, thank you.
Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You won't get it anywhere else.